Wow, you're so mature like a wine from a dusty bottle that no one drinks, but still expensive.
I sent 10,000 pesos. So are we officially boyfriend and girlfriend now?
Aw, that's so sweet of you, but wait a minute, I have to contact my cousin about it.
She said that I'm handsome, and I only had to pay for her mom's surgery. Baby, you're so beautiful. You are so sweet. Do you love me? What can I do for you?
Honestly, I love that you ask me questions after the Gcash clears. If you really love me, you'll send the money through Western Union. It will close at 5 p.m. Do you know what I like the most about you? It's not your money, it's your stability.
Really? I thought it was my receding hairline that made me look distinguished that drew you to me. You saw the title, and yes, Chrissy, we are going there. Are passport bros sexploring or being exploited?
Are Filipinas really falling in love with Western men, or are they just slowly sliding in your bank account?
I'm Rob, 69, and this is my wife, Chrissy, and we've been happily married for almost a year now here in the Philippines. And this is our best-selling book in the Philippines travel category now for 5 months running.
We've been together for 2.5 years, and during our journey, I've seen the good guys and also the gold diggers.
Chrissy, hold the presses. I have a joke.
Okay.
There's a 75-year-old divorced man. He's walking on the beach and he comes across a lantern. And he picks it up curious and he rubs it. And out comes the genie, whoosh. And the genie says, I'll grant you 3 wishes. And he says, great, this is awesome. He says, hold on, there's a catch. Whatever wishes you wish for, I'm going to give your divorced ex twice as much of the same thing. And he goes, huh. He says, okay, no problem. He says, my first wish is I want 10 million US dollars. The genie goes, poof, you have 10 million US dollars and your ex-wife has 20 million US dollars.
Wow.
He says, okay, wish number 2, I want a mansion in Beverly Hills. It should be a $20 million mansion. Genie goes, poof, a $20 million mansion in Beverly Hills is yours. Your wife has 2 $20 million mansions in Beverly Hills. Now, the man says, okay, wish number 3. I've always wondered what it would be like to be with an extremely young, beautiful Filipino woman, 50 years younger than me. And the genie goes, hold on. You know, your wife's going to get double. He says, yeah, okay. He says, I want to be with a 20-year-old Filipina who runs me into the bedroom and runs me ragged halfway until I have my foot in the grave, and she asks for half my money and I give it to her.
You know what, at first, I want to be the ex-wife, but now, I had a second thought. Welcome back to another episode of Fly Me to the Philippines. Today, we're gonna hear a lot of stuff that you can only hear whispered in the bar, or being whispered in the taxi and confessed after breakup.
Stick around, you're about to hear what most men find out too late. Look, maybe she did lie about being single, but her husband was really chill. Let's define what are passport bros. This movement was started by Black Americans, African Americans who couldn't find the type of women that they were really looking for. They found women were entitled in the West, and they began a movement to go abroad and look for the kind of women that they really desired. And it made the women back home, their hair caught on fire. Other people like that were having talk shows where it just made them so furious. So that's what technically a passport bro. It's not someone who is coming to take advantage of somebody. It's just somebody who's willing to travel to find love.
At first, I thought passport bros are the victim of Filipinas who they're gonna marry just for the Filipinas to get passports.
No. People often, as we did once, conflate sexpats with passport bros. A passport bro is just someone looking for love in the right place, maybe, because back home is the wrong place. And then, of course, we all know what a sexpat is. And then the romantic, I think it would have been my category. I came to the Philippines to arbitrage my pension, make my dollars go farther. And look, we're living in a house here overlooking a canyon for $900 US a month. We're going to let it all hang out today, Chrissy. We're going to talk about what really happens to Western men when they come looking for romance.
Oh, baby, I don't care about your age, as long as your ATM never says insufficient funds. In today's episode, you will hear real stories, red flags, and secrets that we've heard after helping over 400 men.
That's a lot of metadata after talking to 400 men and learning which ones crashed and burned and which ones came in for that smooth landing. And if you're already sweating, don't forget a link to Chrissy's open source social media investigation service can be found in the description box and the first pinned comment.
Hey, Daddy.
Hey, baby, what are you doing here in this bar?
Oh, it's my first time here.
Oh, wow. You just moved here?
Yeah, I just moved here like 2 days ago. How about you? Are you first time here in the Philippines?
I am. Let's go to your place. I want to see the boxes and help you unpack.
Okay, Rob, so let's break it down. At the first place, why Western men coming here in the Philippines?
Two big reasons, romance and respect. And of course, financially, your money goes a lot farther here. But the dating situation in the West, it's like a desert. It's like the world's biggest desert. And once a man finds himself divorced or out of a long-term relationship and he's 55, 65 years old, he looks around and he sees a desert. He sees women that are entitled, women that he's not that attractive to, the type of women he can attract with his modest income and modest pension. You know, if he was really rich, you know, he might be able to attract a woman 20 years younger in the West, but she might be quite entitled. And he's not interested. He wants a beautiful woman like you, Chrissy, who's really a time traveler from 1960s. You know, that's a long time ago. And back then, women embraced their gender roles. They were happy to be the wife, and they embraced their role. And he's looking to find that again.
So let's differentiate the expat and passport bros, and also the third one, romantic. So the last one, it sounds like a romantic guy. But how about the expat and passport bros? What are their goals? Why are they here in the Philippines?
Well, you know, men are very visual and they reach a certain point in life where they can travel. And some men become sexpats. And for those men, I always recommend they go to Thailand. This is not the country to explore that. But many do come here for that. We have Angeles City. We have Walking Street. We have the parts of Manila, parts of Cebu City that men explore. I personally think it doesn't hold much interest if you could go to Thailand, but they come and they come to Asia in general, and it's a very transactional thing, and it's commonly practiced here, and they engage in it. So for the cost of an inexpensive hotel room, they can find happiness. My Filipina is different. I mean, she did ask for 20,000 pesos, but she said please.
What's your best quality? Probably your bank-to-bank transfer speed.
She blocked me right after the remittance cleared. Coincidence? It's a desert back where they're coming from. They come here to experience that. And in some countries, men, it's a very backward or very religious country. Their opportunities are almost zero, and they come from Middle Eastern countries or other Asian countries to this part of the world for that. A passport bro is just depressed at the opportunity. He may not be a retirement age. He may be a 35-year-old, really healthy, prime of life man, but he looks around, he doesn't see what he's looking for. And he comes here to find it and to experience it. He's not necessarily ready to get married and settle down, but he might be. And there's nothing wrong with the term passport bro. Unless you're a 50-year-old woman in the West, you might find trouble with it.
Well, I would rather say there are different Western men here in the Philippines. Maybe first is those men who are exploring. Second are those men who are getting exploited by Filipinas. And the third type of men are those successful in the Philippines.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of most of our clients, I'd say 95% of our clients are the romantics. They are looking to either get married, be in a long-term relationship, or bring a wife back to the West. And they're looking for advice on how to achieve their goal. They want Chrissy's input. They want my input. They want to know how to detect the scammers. You know, it's such a good opportunity for Filipinas that there's a lot of sharp elbows by people trying to get to the front of the line. And so you're most likely to start at the front of the line, and you'll be starting with people who can use their beauty to take advantage of you. They're not really sincere. They're transactional, or they even work for organized crime.
So today we will really know if the Filipina you're talking to is really falling in love with you, or she's just making her first step to get into your bank account. No, babe. I'm not like the other girls. I wait 3 days before I ask iPhones.
I found real love. She always video chats me at 3 a.m. from the internet cafe.
Here in the Philippines, men over 50 often treated with admiration, especially when you're kind, respectful, and stable.
But there's a catch, Chrissy. As a man, you have to be able to determine who is sweet and who is a charm school graduate professionally.
But I heard it's so hard to detect who's real behind those charming smiles and charming words from Hey, baby, you're so handsome. Your muscles so big. I like a man without hair. You know, when we first met and you heard those charming words from me, my appreciation, telling you you're so handsome, did you believe it at first?
No, I thought it was like too good to be true. I thought you were a scammer.
Still believe it now?
I do believe it now. We've been together 2.5 years. We've been married almost a year. And, you know, it's long enough for 10 pounds of personality to squeeze out of a 5-pound wrapper. And, you know, you live normal life, you make YouTubes together, you get triggered, you find out who the real person is. And I think we have something really special. But it was such a leap of faith in the first week and the first month. Even after meeting in person, it was such a leap of faith for me to believe.
You know, like Cinderella, you have to wait for 12 hours and think if it will fade or not, and it will show the reality, if it's really roses and shimmering glitters. Yeah. Maybe after 12 hours, it will fade right away.
I got to tell you, one of my children said to me, Dad, if you think there's any reason a woman 30 years old is interested in you for any reason other than money, you are out of your mind. And I'd really hit me like a ton of bricks. And, you know, it took me to go forward, you know, with somebody you really a really smart kid. Someone who I really wanted to come along and embrace our relationship. That was like a showstopper for me because I was so motivated to follow through with you. I really believed we had something. But boy, that was like a real put on the brakes moment. Have you had a moment like that where a family member told you you had your head up your butt and then you were going to go forward anyway? How's it worked out? Have they seen you live your best life? Write us a comment below. Chrissy, let's just say this plainly. A kind, confident man with a plan, well, he thrives here. A lonely man without any confidence, just waving dollars around with his guard down, gets eaten alive.
Of course, I love older men. You're like wise and tired and easy to control. And those are the type of men that not real Filipinas are targeting too, because they're gonna target your emotion, they're gonna target your heart. You're weak in there. You need attention. You were seeking for an appreciation, and they will give it to you. And by that, you will be charmed. You don't need abs, babe. You already have a pension.
You know, Chrissy, I always say that we're men and all humans have like an algorithm in their brain. And if you see a woman washing the hood of a Corvette wearing short shorts, you'll walk up to her and propose. You don't know why. You have no clue. You just, boom, you see it and you respond. Sort of like a German Shepherd sees a ribeye. It responds with, you know, it has no control. And women have a little knowledge about your algorithm. And if you are that man without confidence and you're just waving dollars around, the reason you get eaten alive is because they've done this before. They've practiced with other men. They've trial and error. They know what works and they go right at your algorithm. Men are very visual. And I always tell men, and Chrissy, we're about to publish another book, 165 pages, a Western man's guide to finding love online in Asia and the Philippines. And this time, it's really laser focused on how to find an Asian woman or a Filipina online in the dating apps. Now, I know a lot of you are all boots on the ground, and we just did a 48-minute video 2 weeks ago that teaches you A to Z how to do that. But yeah, we're going to announce whether we're going to sell it on Amazon or we're going to put it as a free PDF. Let us know your thoughts on that.
Who knows? Their fate is really just on their phone, held by their hand.
Yeah, I met you on a dating app, and we did a survey, and 60% met their Filipina on a dating app. And of the 40% who didn't, half came to meet a Filipina they met online, but they kind of blew a flat tire and met someone else.
So, Rob, back to those Filipinas targeting older men. I would say they're really good at it. You know, they're really good in charming, telling you good stuff before pitching out the family emergencies. I don't care about money. You know, I only need a man who can support and sponsor my whole family. It's like a romantic blackmail with filters.
I'm amazed. You know, we can't release any of the details of the people that you work for when you do these open source social media investigations, but 50%. There's a smoking gun. They were out of the country and we find the photo. Their apartment was paid for by another foreigner. They are a different age. They're married. I can't go into all the things, but I am just amazed. 50% of all the investigations that Chrissy does result in a smoking gun. And we recommend men not engage in these investigations until they have video chatted for minimum 15 days, 2 hours a day of video, and the woman has never hinted or asked or accepted money. And only then is she worth checking out. But it's crazy how such a high percentage of these women get busted.
Actually, we have a PDF about that, like how to investigate your own Filipinas Facebook or online social media
That's
accounts.
right.
But I think it is easier if you're gonna get a third party to do it, because if the third party gonna do it, there's no bias
Well, you
emotionally.
you can speak Tagalog and Cebuano Visayan, and you know the culture. We do have a 13-page PDF. Just write, flymeToThePhilippines@gmail.com and say, make sure you specify which PDF, because we have about 5, and just say how to investigate PDF. And it's 13 pages. It's step by step by step how you could do it yourself if you're really good in social media. Now, speaking the language, that's on you. Yeah, Chrissy, when a man doesn't show confidence, Filipinas test men, you know, they're charm school graduates and they see it, they sense it. It's like an animal coming in for their prey. They see it and they have ways of testing men. No, she loves me. She even called me daddy right before adding me to the family group chat.
With my own experience in finding love online, I also tested men. You know, you kind of like test them if they have confidence. And when I think that they're not confident with themselves, it's just a turn off to a Filipina. But when a scammer will find out that you don't have self-confidence and you are easy to be charmed, for them, it's a catch. Filipinas know when you're desperate and you're trying hard.
Chrissy, some will test you and ask for money in 3 days, and others will hit you with the family crisis, the brother motorcycle accident, the grandmother, mother in the hospital photo, just very, very quickly. It's a test. You know, I'm not like other guys. I'm not just here for, you know.
You mean genuine love?
Yeah, a real connection.
So, won't you mind if I'll add my mom, my aunt, and my cousins to the grocery list? But some Filipinas also just want to know if you're gonna treat them with dignity or like an exotic reward.
Absolutely, Chris. That's one of the tips in the new book that we're about to put out, is that a woman as beautiful as you is not going to lead with her beauty, just like a man should not lead with his money. And maybe they tried when they first went online, and when they led with their beauty, they met the wrong kind of sexpat or player, and they were scammed. And so they want to find out if you are interested in them as a person, if you can be their best friend. That's really important. And if you come across as only being visual and focused on the chemistry, it's going to be a little bit of a turnoff, right?
Yes.
Okay, she's gone, but I still have the baby goat she left me. I named it ATM Junior. It's really important that men kind of brace themselves to be prepared, avoid the pitfalls that so many fall into, avoid the scams, and don't approach the woman from the wrong angle. Don't come at her as someone you don't respect. This isn't about paranoia, it's about preparation. Now let's go deeper into what the title of this video is. What's the difference between exploring or sexploring and being exploited?
If you come here in the Philippines thinking that you're the prize, but you don't know how to read the room, that's when the trouble starts.
And when she's the one holding your wallet, your debit card, your PIN number, and your passport, well, buddy, you're not exploring. You're on a guided tour of her shopping list.
You can fall in love here in the Philippines, but keep your eyes wide open. But let's be fair, Rob. Most of the Filipinas that you can find here in the Philippines are really seeking for true love and want a better life with someone that can truly love them and take care of them.
Absolutely, Chrissy. I always advise men the worst thing they can do is give up if they get first introduced by a scammer, if they first find someone who's disingenuous, if they find the filtered photos, if they all, and their feelings can get hurt. No, there's so many honest and beautiful Filipinas here. The only way you can fail is to quit. Don't be put off by the fact that some of the most beautiful girls you can find in the online dating app have seeded false pictures or filtered photos, and they are very successful at getting to the front of the line. You are very visual. That's the person you're going to reach out to. So how do you know if the person you're talking to is real? Well, she doesn't rush into the relationship. She's worried you're a scammer too. She's been scammed before by the married man, by the man who took a picture with the principal's Mercedes, but he's the janitor. She's been lied to by a man who can't come. Sometimes she says no. She doesn't say yes to everything. She doesn't just put on the charm school 100%. She'll say no. And Chrissy, she doesn't hint. She doesn't ask, and she doesn't accept money. And if she does, you need to block her. More than any other thing we know is a real Filipino wants to video chat. She doesn't make excuses why she can't. In fact, she'll video chat you so many hours of the day, you'll lose consciousness.
Mm-hmm. Even you met in person, the moment you go home, she wanted a video call if she's real. I keep saying this before, that a woman that will go online to find someone to date, she's always ready. Her camera is ready. All her gears are ready. There's nobody that will go online, finding man online, but their camera is not available or their phone is broken and they have to borrow the cousins.
The rule is you get 24 hours to make a video chat, and if you can't, you get blocked.
There are a lot of real Filipinas in the Philippines. It's just up to you how to filter and pick the right one.
Yeah, it's a job of prospecting and sifting, sorting, and condensing. And don't take the BS.
And also you will know if you met the real Filipinas because her online life will matches her real life. You will see the reality is the same as what she's showing you online.
Yeah, Filipinos are crazy. #1 in the world for social media. And if they go to a 5-star resort, they can't resist showing the picture to everybody they know in one of their multiple Facebook accounts. Okay, Chrissy, let's flip the script. What does it look like when you're getting played? How do you know you're being played? First, every week there's a new crisis. Second, all these hours of video chat, you never met her family. Most of these women live at home, don't pay rent. There's family members coming in and out of the common spaces, but you've never really met the family, just some blurry images in the background. She avoids video chat. She gives you just a limited budget of video chat full of excuses. And whenever she does video chat, the connectivity is so horrible, you're like, okay, let's call it quits after 10 minutes. So she doesn't have to spend 2-3 hours a day video chatting you. You find her social media accounts, but they're weirdly empty. She has 92 friends. She posts a lot of pictures of puppy dogs and flowers and religious sayings. You've heard most Filipinas have 3,000 friends. Chrissy, when I met you, you had 4,000 friends. I thought it was odd, but then I've learned it's quite typical. 2,000-3,000 is average. Hers is very sparse, almost like she created a brand new page just to go online and appear to be transparent to foreigners.
Or worse that could happen, she's just surrounded with kids that she claimed to be nephews and nieces or cousins that living at their house.
Chrissy, we once helped a client, and we helped him discover that he was not boyfriend number 2. He was boyfriend number 3. And he got back to us and said, I called her up and busted her, and I said, I really thought I was special. And she said, you were special. You were my weekend boyfriend.
I would say this, be observant on what you're seeing, what you heard, and what your instinct is saying to you.
If any of this sounds familiar, it may be time to talk. I've told this story before, Chrissy. I got scammed out of $100 my first time online 7 years ago. During COVID, I talked to a woman for 60 days. I found on her mother's Facebook page, after 3 hours of digging, she was engaged to a man from Ohio. 2 hours a day I chatted to her for 60 days. She never asked for money. And if I hadn't looked at her social media, I would, God knows, I'd probably, who knows what would have happened. But she admitted it and told me she was talking to him for an hour a day in Ohio.
So she had exploited your time.
she, like, you know, the women get scammed like this. The women, they end up talking to married men and men who only are interested in, you know, sexual stuff. And they find out after a year, and they're so much closer to turning 30 that they were their time. And, you know, I gave up. I made the big mistake. I gave up. I was so, oh my God, my mind was blown. I couldn't believe it happened to me, and I quit. And it wasn't until I went back online 2 years later and I met you.
Well, it happened to you for a reason, so that you can share it to the men and they can learn the lesson.
And I was destined to meet you, the love of my life. Now let's get positive. What does success look like?
You know, we've seen a lot of marriages here in the Philippines that went successful. They got married, they're living their happy life, they're living in the, you know, not in the big city, but yet they're so happy. So it is not just all negative stories, but there's also a lot of successful stories.
They weren't flashy. They were patient, smart, and respectful. They didn't chase girls waving their cash. They created connections.
And they didn't find a girl that is a party animal just to change them to become a partner. It's very hard to change a person. When the person is like that already, even before they met you, you can hardly change them into something else.
You know, if you're in the big city and you engage in going to Angeles City, or you're in Manila or Cebu City, and you go to the nightlife bars and you run into a woman in a nightlife bar, well, that's going to be very difficult to change her stripes. But the successful men, they meet women like Chrissy, who comes from a town of 20,000. She went to high school there. She went to college there. And in that town, Chrissy, you get around by walking, jeepney, motorcycle, or tricycle. And you have 15 uncles and about 40 cousins. And your ability to go to a bar and not be seen by family members is zero, right? You told the story where you went to buy a calculator 20 minutes from college. Your father almost had your head because it was one of your uncles saw you in the other town. And now that was a 4-year boyfriend you married, but that's what a small town girl, the pressure she has to walk a straight line. And those are the girls that the successful men, more often than not, are the ones they're meeting. 6 days a week at work, Sunday morning at church, and Sunday afternoon is always a relative's birthday.
But still, Chris is not perfect, still hard to handle. So you have to be careful in picking your Filipina. If you're gonna pick a Filipina that's already hard when you're meeting them, it can be harder.
Yeah, if she's crazy jealous and if she's a tompo queen, it's not going to change. So you got to determine that early on too. The men who are successful, they don't go to Boracay and look in the bar at the 5-star hotel. They don't go to Cebu City to Mango Avenue to find their girl. They don't go to Angeles City to find their girl. Although I do have to tell you, Chrissy, I have a friend that I met before I met you, because I was thinking about going to Colombia, to Medellin, and he had a condo there. Someone introduced me. He met his Filipina. She was 20, and he's now 65. But back then he was 55. And he walked into McDonald's, and there's this beautiful Filipina sitting in the McDonald's, and he couldn't help himself, so he made conversation. And now they've been married like 12, 13 years. It turns out she had been in a relationship with another American, and he broke up with her after 6 months. So he took advantage of her, had his fun, and left her. And the mother said, "You're going to sit in that McDonald's in Angeles City every day from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. until another foreigner becomes your boyfriend." And in walked my friend. He met her. She was spectacular. He's like the happiest guy I know. Yeah, he spends half his time in Colombia and half his time in Florida, and he's the boy with all the toys too. So now he's got a really happy relationship. So there's all kinds of ways to be successful.
I would really say he's the luckiest guy, 1 out of 100.
Well, we just had another person write in to our last comment. Our subscriber wrote into the comments to the last video. He's married like 20 years. He met his wife at the Jollibees. She was sitting there too. And he suspects that she was up to the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, what's important is at the end, you're happy and nothing has occurred of what is occurring before you met the girl in,
I think
the past life.
if you're not a sexpat, if you're either a passport bro or you're a romantic and you are looking to make a deep connection, to meet a lifelong partner, there are so many opportunities here, and success tends to look a little bit more a small town girl. Once the girl has worked at a call center for 6 months or a year, once she's worked in the big city for years, she becomes kind of citified, and she becomes anonymous. You know, she can get on a jeepney and go to the other side of Manila, hit the nightlife, be out at a hotel with Western men. No uncles are going to see her. No cousins are going to see her. There's 12 million people in the city. And once she's been there for 6 months or a year, you don't really know what you're getting involved with, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 50-50. Something, you know, we know somebody who worked in a factory for 8 years, and she's as pure as the driven snow in Manila. So, you know, it goes both ways.
Finding the right woman matters not just for your wallet, but also for your heart, your health, and your future.
If you're thinking about coming to the Philippines, pick up a copy of our book. The paperback's jumping off the shelf. Read it on the airplane and get a little bit grounded. Chrissy, we've seen men thrive here. We've seen men aimless and fail. And what's the difference? Wisdom, boundaries, and a little bit of support. You know, in a perfect world, everybody should have a big brother and a little sister they could rely on to help navigate the unknowns.
You're not too old and you're not too late. You just have to be smart. Like I've said before, see your age as an advantage, not a limitation.
I just want to encourage everyone out there, like I say before, from the Shawshank Redemption, it's time to start dying or it's time to start living. Get off the couch, make your move, do your planning. I used to be you. Chrissy, I used to be them. I was sitting there on the couch. I was vicariously living through some of these vloggers. Some of them were single, trying to figure it out. Some of them were paired up. Some were married. And I used to watch the quality of the relationship between some of the married ones and try and see if it was real. Was it real? Was it really possible? It kind of convinced me that it was. And a lot of people we talk to, they tell us that they sense the quality of our relationship here on the channel and they take the leap. We know one person, he said, like, we were responsible for him taking the leap. And that's what really makes us happy, when we are able to change people's lives. So if you've run into one too many entitled Western woman, if you want to start loving yourself and putting yourself as a number one priority, and you're ready to get fit, get moving, take the trip, do the exploration, I guarantee you, as long as you don't quit and you do some smart things, you do some things smart. You can't just barrel ahead with no preparation. But if you're smart and you can spot a scammer and you can just reload and reload and reload, like playing a video game, you got to win that level before you can fly.
So take note, fly here in the Philippines with cautions. Remember, Filipinas are smart. Don't be outsmarted by them.
If you're a sexpat, go to Thailand. If you're a romantic or passport bro, come to the Philippines. Find your version of Chrissy. They exist, and only quitting can get in the way.
Fly smart, fly with confidence. Only here from Fly Me to the Philippines.
Write us at flymetothephilippines@gmail.com. We're here to help. Till next time. Baby, you're so beautiful. You are so sweet. Do you love me? What can I do for you?
I forgot my lines.